All right, the Me Too movement is back with a vengeance. This time, possibly claiming, I don't think that there's any final decision yet, but a major executive at one of the big three networks on broadcast TV, CBS CEO Les Moonves. And this is somebody who he's basically been responsible for the growth of the network over the past 20 years. So you can see this is a photo of him, and then there's also, let's see, over here, there's this is the big article from the New Yorker from Ronan Farrow, the same guy who broke, I believe, the Matt Lauer case. And Ronan Farrow, it would appear, seems to be the go-to guy for leaks in this type of industry, in the Hollywood entertainment and TV industry. It could be that Ronan Farrow is basically, he's gotten the 411 and basically edged out all the other competition on basically exposing a lot of these people in Hollywood and entertainment industry. But it might be that he's just being used by other people within the industry in order to take down their rivals. And or it could be that this is going to happen anyway, and he kind of hints at it in the actual article. So he starts it off. It says, for more than 20 years, Leslie Moonves has been one of the most powerful media executives in America. As the chairman and CEO of CBS Corporation, he oversees shows ranging from 60 Minutes to The Big Bang Theory. His portfolio includes the premium cable channel Showtime, the publishing house Simon & Schuster, and a streaming service, CBS All Access. Moonves, who is 68, has a reputation for canny hiring and project selection. The Wall Street Journal recently called him a TV programming wizard. The Hollywood Reporter dubbed him a Wall Street hero. In the tumultuous field of network television, he has enjoyed rare longevity as a leader. Last year, according to filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission, he earned nearly $70 million, making him one of the highest paid corporate executives in the world. In recent months, Moonves has become a prominent voice in Hollywood's Me Too movement. In December, he helped found the Commission on Eliminating Sexual Harassment and Advancing Equality in the Workplace. That type of title, by the way, of a body just sounds Orwellian in nature. The Commission on Eliminating Sexual Harassment and Advancing Equality in the Workplace, which is chaired by Anita Hill. She's well known for the Clarence Thomas allegations in the early 90s. It's a watershed moment, Moonves said at a conference in November. I think it's important that a company's culture will not allow for this. And that's the thing that's far-reaching. There's a lot we're learning. There's a lot we didn't know. But Moonves' private actions belie his public statements. 6 women who had professional dealings with him told me that between the 1980s and the late aughts, I hate it when they write it like that. The late aughts would be the late 2000s. Moonves sexually harassed them. 4 described forcible touching or kissing during business dealings in what they said appeared to be a practice routine. 2 told me that Moonves physically intimidated them or threatened to derail their careers. All said that he became cold or hostile after they rejected his advances, and that they believed their careers suffered as a result. What happened to me was a sexual assault, and then I was fired for not participating, the actress and writer Ileana Douglas told me. All the women said they still feared that speaking out would lead to retaliation from Moonves, who is known in the industry for his ability to make or break careers. He has gotten away with it for decades, said the writer Janet Jones, who alleges that she had to shove Moonves off her after he forcibly kissed her at a work meeting, told me, and it's just not okay. So these are women. This is something that, remember, we talk a lot about the presumption of innocence here on this channel. We were talking about it a lot in the fall due to the Tavis Smiley allegations, also due to the Roy Moore allegations, which, by the way, I always said I probably would not have voted for Roy Moore. And this is really different here, because in those cases, the accusers were remaining anonymous pretty much the entire time. Let me look up this Ileana Douglas. We'll see exactly what her name, like, what's her portfolio. She might be part of the famous Douglas family. You know, Michael Douglas. So she was in an episode of 6 Feet Under. She was in Action. No, she's not. I don't think she's related to Michael Douglas. She's related to a previous actor named Mervyn Douglas. So, whatever that's worth. Whatever that's worth. Okay, so there's this. There are these people who have been in Hollywood before who are now accusing him. Now, could this be opportunism? I don't know. There are 30 current and former employees of CBS told me that such behavior extended from Moonves to important parts of the corporation, including CBS News and 60 Minutes, one of the network's most esteemed programs. So if that's true, and Moonves has been around since the late 90s at CBS, then there's a lot of people who have something to answer for. There's, of course, the entire crew of 60 Minutes. You know, there's that Leslie Stahl lady who, you know, to be honest with you, I don't think she even knows what year it is anymore. There's Dan Rather, who was fired in the mid-90s. So these people, if they knew something and they've been playing high and mighty since then, there should be more people resigning from CBS, but there won't be. During Moonves' tenure, men at CBS News who were accused of sexual misconduct were promoted, even as the company paid settlements to women with complaints. It isn't clear whether Moonves himself knew of the allegations, but he has a reputation for being closely involved in management decisions across the network. Some of the allegations, such as those against the former anchor Charlie Rose, as reported by the Washington Post, have already become public. Other claims are being reported here for the first time. 19 current and former employees told me that Jeff Fager, the former chairman of CBS News and the current executive producer of 60 Minutes, allowed harassment in its division. It's top down, this culture of older men who have all this power and you are nothing, one veteran producer told me. The company is shielding lots of bad behavior. In a statement, Moonves said, "Throughout my time at CBS, we have promoted a culture of respect and an opportunity for all employees. I've consistently found success elevating women to top executive positions across our company. I recognize that there were times decades ago when I may have made some women uncomfortable by making advances. Those were mistakes, and I regret them immensely. But I always understood and respected and abided by the principle that no means no, and I have never misused my position to harm or hinder anyone's career. This is a time when we all are appropriately focused on how we help improve our society, and we at CBS are committed to being part of the solution." According to CBS, there have been no misconduct claims and no settlements against Moonves during his 24 years at the network. A statement from the company said, "CBS is very mindful of all workplace issues and takes each report of misconduct very seriously. We do not believe, however, that the picture of our company created in The New Yorker represents a larger organization that does its best to treat its tens of thousands of employees with dignity and respect. We are seeing vigorous discourse in our country about equality, inclusion, and safety in the workplace, and CBS is committed to being part of the solution to those important issues. The allegations are surfacing at a time when CBS is engaged in an increasingly acrimonious fight with its former parent company, Viacom, which acquired CBS in 1999 and spun it off as a separate entity 7 years later. A holding company founded by the mogul Sumner Redstone still owns a majority stake in both Viacom and CBS, and Redstone's daughter and heir, Sherry Redstone, has sought to reunite the businesses. Moonves has resisted the move, and in May, Redstone's holding company and CBS filed lawsuits against each other. All of the women making allegations against Moonves began speaking to me before the current lawsuits. In independent interviews carried out during the past 8 months, all said they were not motivated by any allegiance in the corporate battle, but several felt this was an opportunity to examine a workplace culture that many of the women in the story described as toxic. So then it goes through Ileana Douglas. It goes through, um, it goes through the stories of a number of these people. We might revisit this a different time. I'm actually recording this early in the morning, and I have to go to work soon. But I would like to say this, okay? I still believe that you can't, this is my principle. You can't convict somebody in the court of public opinion. And I know that there's certainly a gap between, the way, how easy is it to actually bring somebody to justice, to have them legally held accountable for something like this. It's not that easy nowadays, or ever in America. You can sue them. You can basically try to litigate your way against them. But in order to hold them criminally accountable, it's very difficult, especially for something like this that happened years ago. Okay, so I think that Les Moonves, even though I personally have no sympathy for him and his, because CBS, to be honest with you, is a garbage network filled with basically dinosaurs and old timey programming. Like, The Good Wife is actually it was a good series, for example, but it's just not. It's like the type of it's actually the type of programming that people in the New Yorker would watch. That's how what's ironic about the New Yorker exposing this. So the people who would read the New Yorker would probably watch a network like CBS and its crappy shows. The majority of his shows are like this. The Big Bang Theory. What's another one? Uh, I don't even see anything. But you had 60 Minutes, you had CBS Nightly News. I think Scott Pelley is the guy who's the anchor of that. And then you have them bringing in this whole rivalry, this whole issue between Viacom and CBS. Now, if Sumner Redstone's family is trying to bring CBS back under the purview of Viacom, then the real question here is, did the Redstones know about these allegations against Moonves, and how long did they cover it up? How long did they keep it, under wraps? The same issue came to light when the Weinstein Company, when Harvey Weinstein started being exposed. Now, I'm not going to say that the allegations were false, because I think we've established that Harvey Weinstein did do a lot of those things. We don't know if he did everything, but there have been a number of things that he's admitted to. So what I'm talking about is that Bob Weinstein, who's the other brother in the Weinstein Company, was using some of these allegations in order to wrestle control of the company back from Harvey Weinstein. And then it turned out that there were allegations against Bob Weinstein as well. So, are we going to start hearing stories about Sumner Redstone, he's the guy, the head honcho at CBS for many years before Moonves, the guy whose family owns much of the company? And if they knew about this for so many years, then this really isn't about addressing sexual assault. This might just be all about corporate manipulation. And that's really what the Me Too movement has become about. The Me Too movement was originally a feel-good, or I don't know if you would call it feel-good, but kind of a cathartic experience for sexual assault survivors, striking back at the people who had used their positions of power to sexually exploit women. However, once it became established that they don't need proof, they just need to make their allegations and they would be accepted. The listen and believe principle. That's when it started to become really a mob mentality type of movement. And that's where it started to eat its own people alive. That's why Moonves, who himself was part of the Me Too movement, he had this role on that commission on eliminating sexual harassment and advancing equality in the workplace. Well, he's basically being bundled into the car himself now and driven out into the country to be executed, so to speak, on a metaphorical level. So I want to hear your thoughts. We might cover this again a different time. I just wanted to talk about that. I think it's a really interesting case. A lot of people are extrapolating a lot out of this. We still don't know if it's true, but it's very ironic, and it just shows how out of control the Me Too movement has become, and perhaps how some of its proponents or themselves were very selfish to begin with, and were using it just for completely irrelevant purposes that had nothing to do with helping women in the workplace. So that's about it. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video as well, and comment after it uploads.